Okay, now we're going to talk about the this floor a little bit. Here we have a problem where it gets high here, it dips down there and up again very rapidly here, and the tiles were going to be laid here. You can see that the bubble is quite high on that side. It's hard to see because of the flash here, because this hallway is dark, and if we open it, you can't see. Let's see if we can move it back. Anyway, it has a good half an inch underneath it. It has a good half an inch between the bottom of the level and the wall. Also under here, there's a lot of air under there. I can see maybe a collapsed channel on one end, but we've got a lot of air under there.
You can actually put your fingers there.
You can put your fingers underneath there. Maybe that's not a big deal, but we're just stopping out everything. None of this stuff, there's a lot of, this is very deep here on the edges. We don't know if that's a problem, but someone told us that's an NTCA certified installer. He didn't know why they did that like that. This 10-inch level shows like what a steep incline there is just on this one tile. It goes up very rapidly on this one tile, comes to here and then dips over there. It cannot be good for tile for it to be like that. We know from a little research we did that it's not a great idea. There's another dip like that around the corner here. I won't go through both of them. But then we come over here, and this is where they did the cutting with their multi-tools to fit the tiles in. This was not like this at all when we began. It did not look like this. None of this looked like this at all. It was fine. I don't know if they had planned to fix it, but I don't think they needed to do this kind of damage. I don't think this kind of damage needed to be done on here. I might be wrong. I just don't understand why it needed to be done. Here we have a good half-inch high. I guess I could measure it. I will measure it before they take this out. It is a trip hazard here. We had asked that specifically not to raise the floor up at all. We did not want to raise it up at all, and if it did, we really wanted to go back to wood, which is what we're doing after all. Anyway, so this, in addition to being a trip hazard, and we don't want a second, which is the solution, to put a second threshold on top of this one. We don't want to do that. This tile has all, as most cuts are, we're done with a dull blade and are all chipped up. And most edges, and this edge is going to show supposedly. Well, no, not if you put a double, but it was supposed to just line. This was it. This was our finish. Anyway, okay. Over here, this register has no tile under it at all on one end. It's just open to the floor to underneath. There's no tile there. It's a big missing piece of tile. This was our finish. These are the finishes. And this would be very unattractive anyway. That's not how it should be finished. This is a problem. We understand that problems happen, but there's a lot of problems and also problems with the underlayment. There's a lot of tiles that have fat on one end, skinny on the other, and they've been cut on the other end. So there's no reason that it should fit like that. It should have been cut right. The reason it's like that is because it wasn't cut properly, and now it's tilted. There are a lot of tiles like that. So this end will be very, very tight, and it'll be very hard to get any amount of grout in there. That's on a lot of the cut tiles. There were all through here, there are many similar tiles. There are, through the center here, probably the worst of it. There we go. The worst of it's through the center here. On the edges are better. We bought tiles specifically for the fact that it had such a large variance in print. And we specifically asked that the same tiles don't be placed side by side by side. Come over here and we've got some stuff. He was not going to finish this doorway. He was not going to finish this woodwork. And he left us to deal with these cuts. like this. And these things also cut very hacked apart. And this, which we would have to see from above. And these kind of finishes here with the chip tiles, misaligned. These are misaligned. He's blaming us and blaming the tile and blaming the house, but that's the finish here. Was the finish here? There's more little things, but I'm gonna go straight to, there's more of those bad cuts here that we're gonna leave us with ugly things. This cut is just horrible and not even square. It's a little bit off. It's not square. If you measure the two ends, they're different lengths. This stair, you should not, we've since found, we should have been advised not to tile this stair. Tyler knew we wanted to tile into this mudroom, all the same tile. We've got the tile right behind me here for this room. We decided not to have Tyler tile this floor, but he understood that we wanted to tile this floor. First of all, we've since found out that anybody who does professional tiling will tell you that you should not tile a floor, never one that looks like this. This should not have been tiled. It would not have held up, and that this was not done properly, and that we should not have done it at all. When we interviewed Tyler, he should have told us that this is a bad idea for tiling and that we shouldn't have done it. But that was not the case. If you look, it's tiled on top of a piece of trim. So when you understand that we want to tile this entire floor, there's no way to tile it so it's going to look nice. We're going to have to remove this piece of trim that he sawed the top off of, and it's not even placed evenly on top of the piece of trim. The piece of trim is very thick on this end and gets thinner as it goes to this end. And then it gets a little thicker there where they're misaligned, and then it gets very thin down here. So these tiles are all misaligned. He's blaming it on shifting or something. And down this end, there is even a little area where it is just tiled on top of air. There's nothing underneath that tile. This is a piece of trim, and this piece of tile is just, if anyone stepped there, it would break off. If you stepped there the right way, this would break right off. And we don't think that this is the appropriate way to leave someone's stair. He knew we were going to tile because he originally was going to do this, but like I said, there were red flags, and we decided to try to minimize the amount of work that we were going to have Tyler do. Let me think of anything else. Of course, there's a bunch of mismatched corners like this, and the terrible from the dull saw blades everywhere. Every cut tile is pretty much chipped like that. The saw blades were obviously not changed. In addition to these problems, we know that there are underlayment problems. These are just the cosmetic and things we should have been told were issues to begin with. Thank you.